Hello and welcome to this Age of Empires 4 build order, and today we're doing the English double stable Horseman rush. Now this build order is particularly useful if you're going up against the English civilization, for example in a mirror match, or if for example your opponent is going for a 2-town center boom and you want to apply some early pressure, or even if they're opening up archers. So for the build, 5 of the 6 starting villagers go to sheep, the remaining villager goes to build a house, and then goes to gold. As you can see, we've taken our scout to find as many sheep as possible, and the next 3 villagers from the town centre will all go to food to make 8 in total. Now the idea behind this build order is to kind of confuse your opponent. Often you'd expect to be going for longbowmen if you're the English civilization, and that's not usually a bad idea, but in this instance, where we think we're going to be up against longbowmen ourselves or archers, or we just want to be raiding our opponent, we're going to go for a double stable horseman. And we're going to be getting a blacksmith for the iron undermesh upgrade so that we can tank more shots basically from our opponent's town centre or archers. And we will be getting a mill for an early wheelbarrow. And I guess by early I mean as soon as you hit feudal age, you'll be very quickly getting wheelbarrow. Okay, so now that we've got 8 villagers on food, we're going to start to send the next 2 villagers to gold to make 3 in total. Now, once you do have a good production of horsemen from 2 stables, we will be thinking about the strategy onwards. One strategy will be going for longbowman follow-up, in case your opponent has gone for spears, which they usually would. The second follow-up strategy will be going for a fast castle, or kind of semi-fast castle timing. So we've got 3 villagers on gold, and so now we're going to send the next 8 villagers to wood. Our scout is getting more sheep, and that's definitely going to be useful for us. Of course, we build the lumber camp, and we're looking pretty solid so far. Not much to really talk about at this stage. What we will do, though, is when we do go up with the council hall, we will be taking 2 villagers off of gold to build that landmark. The other villager will go to build a house, and then we'll go back to gold. As you can see, just demonstrated there. And we do go for the council hall because, well, whilst we're opening double stable horsemen, our opponent is naturally going to go for spears, and then it means that our transition is so much easier to get longbowmen. I mean, we've already got basically the council hall built, so we don't have to worry about the wood for archery ranges or anything like that. We keep getting villagers rallied to wood. We want 8 in total, and that will help us afford the 2 stables and the blacksmith and also the mill. Just to let you know, guys, I will have the PDF version of the build order on the channel. I just need you guys to have a look at the video description if you're interested in that. And if you already have access to the PDFs, you know, on the Discord, you will see the updated version, including this build order. All right, we're aiming for an age up time between 4.5 minutes to 5 minutes roughly. And we should be pretty well on our way to be producing horsemen after that. Okay, just a couple more sheep, and once we do get up to feudal age, we will be ready to drop the mill, and we will usually go for the berries if it's like dry Arabia. If it's something like Altai, probably aim for going for the deer with the mill. Usually, actually, to be fair with Altai, the mill can usually get the berries and the deer. The deer and the mill, sorry, the deer and the berries are often quite close to each other on Altai. But it just depends on your spawn, of course. Okay, so we're aiming for 8 on wood. We're almost there. We've seen what our opponent is up to. We see their exposed gold line and berries there, and that's what we'll target. And the best thing about horsemen is that you can kind of duck in and out and just sort of pick villagers here and there, and that's what we really want to do. We want to raid our opponent, use the mobility. Even if our opponent goes for spears, we want to try and get in early with the horsemen, and just get a couple of villagers here and there just to delay their economy. So as you can see, we're almost there to feudal age, probably going to be there just around about the 5-minute mark, I suspect. Okay, so once we've got 8 villagers to wood like we do now, we're going to start sending the new villagers to go to build the mill and then go to berries. We're going to get the next 10 villagers to food to make 18 in total on food. And that will sustain us in terms of production from 2 stables and also the town centre. Okay, as you can see now, as soon as we hit feud age, we have dropped the 2 stables. We're building it with 1 villager, and we've got the mill, and we will be queuing up wheelbarrow very soon, just as soon as we can afford the gold. Now, wheelbarrow is a really good economic upgrade. It costs 150 gold, so as soon as you get 150 gold, you'll be ready to click that, and it increases the carry capacity of villagers by 5, and their movement speed is increased by 15%, and that's all of your villagers, whether they're working on gold, the berries, the wood, and that's why it's such a powerful upgrade. So as you can see, we've clicked wheelbarrow, we're at about 5.5 minutes, we're getting a double stable up, and we're going to be able to afford the blacksmith very soon. So the new villagers are going to be rallying to berries. I mean, you can go for the sheep if you like, and it will be a bit faster and less exposed. But the reason why I said to go to the berries in this particular demonstration is because it just depends on how many sheep you actually manage to get. So if you didn't get all that many, you may need to go to berries a little bit earlier. So we're building the barracks, the blacksmith rather. I'm not sure if I said barracks earlier, but I meant the blacksmith. And we will be building a house with this villager as well, because we don't want to get housed. So we start to queue up the horsemen already. They're pretty expensive units, 100 food, 20 wood. And that's why we're quite heavy focused on food for now. I'm going to send them forward to see if we can get any raiding potential. Maybe pick off some villagers at the berries here and just see what we can do. Alright, making good progress. Now that the blacksmith is going to be going up, as you can see, you've got 125 gold. We're about to click iron undermesh from the blacksmith, which is great for us. Iron undermesh, just to give you some idea, it's an increased ranged armor. So all of these units, the horsemen, all of the units will have an extra armor against ranged units, which we can see our opponent going for. You know, the council hall, the English civilization often goes for that, and it means you can tank the town centre fire a little bit better as well. Okay, we've got double stable production, as you can see nicely there. We had that right from the beginning of feudal age, and we're looking good. See it there? Yep, queued up there. We're looking good. Once we get 18 villagers on food, guys, this is where the decision making needs to come into play. So we'll talk about follow-up strategies then. Once we've got 18 on food, we can start to think of either going for a longbowman follow-up, especially if our opponent has gone for spearmen, which they have actually. They've got a couple of spearmen on the field. They're getting a good raid here. So follow-up 1 is that we go for longbowmen. So what we will need to do then is, once we've got 18 villagers on food, we're going to need to send the next 6 villagers to wood to make 16 in total. Now it sounds a bit overkill, because that will easily sustain the council hall production, but it's because also we need the wood to be able to sustain farm production, because we need to transition to farms as well, especially because we're kind of hanging around in feudal age for a bit longer. Once you do hit 16 on wood, then you can start to send more villagers to gold, and then you can eventually look to get up to the castle age. Follow-up strategy number 2 is that actually we've done a lot of damage, hopefully, with our horsemen. What we can do from there is actually think about going to the castle age. And in order to do that, obviously now we've got 18 on food, we will have had 8 on wood. You'll then need to start sending more villagers to gold. You will also probably want to stop producing horsemen, and with the excess wood you could start producing more outposts in and around your base, just to offer you that a little bit of protection as you do try and get up to the castle age. Just a word of advice as well, if you do go for follow-up strategy 1, you'll want to send 2 villagers forward to build an outpost forward, just so that it gives you the attack bonus speed for the English civilization. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this build order tutorial, and if you did, do give the video a thumbs up. It really helps the channel. Take care, and see you next time.